So in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you guys my 2023-24 League 2 team of the season. If you do go on to enjoy, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you go try and hit 150 likes on today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We are on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already with that post notification bell on. It's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. I'm sure there'll be certain plays that you disagree with, and you definitely won't agree with all of my list. We're doing something slightly different this year compared to the previous couple of seasons. We've got the full starting 11 in a 4-3-3 formation, but then we've also got 7 substitutions as well, just to minimise the amount of hate comments that I can get, because don't get me wrong, there are a lot of very good players in this league, but I can only pick 11 of them, and I have done it based on if a player can actually play in that position. You're not going to see 6'54" Matt Smith playing right wing in this team, for example. So we've got players in a 4-3-3. You've got a left back playing left back. You've got a centre mid in centre mid. We've not got none on this Davis Keeler Dunn playing central midfield because he doesn't play there. I've got everybody in at their natural positions, or at least a position they can definitely play. So make sure to drop a like on there for me. Subscribe if you're new as well. Let's get into it. Starting out then with my goalkeeper, and this for me was one of the hardest positions on the pitch. Obviously, as a goalkeeper, you can only play in goal. It's not you're a centre half who can play at full back, or a central midfielder who could maybe do a job on the wing. If you are a goalkeeper, you are a goalkeeper, and there are 40, 50, 60 different options you could have gone with. And for me personally, I have gone with Crawley Town's Corey Adai. I was nearly going to go with the goalkeeper who I've put on the bench. Obviously, we'll talk about him later on in today's video, but he has the best save percentage in the division. He did only manage 39 appearances this season in the league for Crawley, so I'm going to assume he has had an injury this season, but he had a 76% save percentage. Over every 3 in 4 shots that he faced, he saved, which is an absolutely incredible return in my personal opinion. He only conceded 7 goals as well from outside of the box, and as a goalkeeper, very good with the ball at his feet. He's a very tall goalkeeper as well, and when I saw Adai play last season in the 22-23 campaign, I thought he looked a little bit shaky, but having watched him a few times this season, whether that be against my team Bradford City or in the 2 recent matches against MK Dons, I do think he has had a pretty solid game. I mean, even in the playoff first leg against MK Dons, where I think it's Liam Kelly plays an outrageous back pass to Adai, and he has all the composure in the world to bring the ball down with like a Cruyff turn type thing. It was absolutely bizarre, and managed to get away from the MK Dons attacker. But you look at him statistically, he saved 1 out of 3 penalties as well at this campaign, but having a 76% save rate is absolutely outstanding, and certainly cannot be looked further than. He managed to get them into the playoffs as well. He was a big part of their success this season. Did only keep the 8 clean sheets, and you could say from a clean sheet point of view that is poor, but I would certainly put that more down to the defence rather than Corey Adai, who did have a really good season with Crawley Town. Moving over then to right back, we have Bradford City's Brad Halliday. Now, you can call me biased all you want, but Brad Halliday this season has comfortably been one of the best wing backs in the EFL. He has been absolutely outstanding. He's maybe had 1 or 2 bad games all season. Every other game he's been at least a 7 or an 8 out of 10. He has been absolutely incredible for us. Played 44 matches for us in total in League 2, with 41 of them being starts. He got 4 goals and also 4 assists with a 24% accurate cross rate. Defensively, absolutely incredible. 1.4 interceptions per game, 2.8 tackles per game, 5.7 balls recovered per game, and 1.2 clearances per game as well. He has a 42% successful dribble rate. At the start of the season, Mark Hughes decided to drop Brad Halliday, and he's clearly taken that as a big motivation, and under Graham Alexander has massively kicked on. His output going forward is absolutely brilliant, especially towards the latter stages of the season, when you need one of your key players to step up, to score a goal, to at the time keep our playoff hopes alive. You wouldn't really look to a full-back traditionally, but somebody who stepped up playing in that wing-back position, I think he's been absolutely incredible this season. Defensively, he's so good 1v1, very, very rarely it gets beaten, and going forward has massively improved as well this season. So Brad Halliday for me has to. Let's move over then to the 2 centre-halves. Firstly, we have Fraser Horsfall of Stockport County. I think it would be very wrong of me not to have a couple Stockport players in this team, considering they did win the league, but the thing with Stockport is they had a very good squad, and everybody in that squad had a really good season. Didn't really have many players who stood out, which is why I think traditionally in team of the seasons you very rarely see the champions or teams who got promoted have 3, 4, 5, 6 players in there, because they're a very good team. They've not really got too many players who massively stand out. I would certainly say though, one of Stockport's best players this season was at Fraser Horsfall, and you could even say that over the last couple of seasons. Again, he has been very important for them this season. Did only miss the 1 match in League 2 this campaign, but played 45 in total, 45 of them being starts. Got 2 goals as well, but defensively, just listen to some of these statistics. 17 clean sheets, 1.2 interceptions per game, 1 tackle per game, 4.9 balls recovered per game, and 5 clearances per game as well. He wins 74% of his aerial duels and 56% on the ground as well. He did also pick up 6 yellow cards this season, but he's been an absolutely incredible signing from Northampton Town just under 4 years ago now, and again had a brilliant season this year with Stockport. He has been pivotal to their success over the last couple of seasons, and if Stockport are to go one better and over the next couple of years build towards the championship, I certainly think Fraser Horsfall will be massive for them at centre half, and for me personally, he absolutely has to be in here. Partnering him then over on the left side, we have Crewe Alexandra's Mickey Dimitriou. Now his playoff campaign, we'll start with that, was very chalk and cheese. Obviously in the first leg against Doncaster, he makes a massive error at the start of the second half and it allows them to double their lead, but in the second leg he was absolutely brilliant. He was a monster at the back for Crewe, scores a really early goal from a set piece, and we'll talk about his output this season going forward because some of his statistics are better than some wingers or attacking players in this division, which is absolutely incredible. He played 46 matches in League 2 this season for Crewe, 45 of them being starts. He got in the SofaScore Team of the Week on 9 occasions as well. He scored 8 goals this season, averaging a goal every 510 minutes. That is absolutely incredible for a centre half, and also chipped in with 6 assists, 14 goal contributions from centre half is absolutely outstanding. But then again, defensively, absolutely brilliant. 13 clean sheets, 1.5 interceptions per game, 5.7 balls recovered per game, and 5.8 clearances per game as well. He wins 63% of his ground duels and 63% of his aerial duels as well. Obviously left-footed, I like to have a right footer on the right side and a left footer on the left side as just an added bonus. But I think when people saw Dimitriou move on a free transfer to Crewe, nobody would have predicted him to have had such a good season like what he has had. He's got a brilliant long throw on him as well, and in my personal opinion, absolutely has to be in this team at left centre back. And completing the defence then over at left back. Now firstly, there was a few players who could have gone in this position, and I only picked 2 left backs in the end. We do have one of them on the bench. I decided in the end though to go with James McLean. I think since Wrexham have picked him up, he has been massive for them this season. Played 37 times in the league this year, 3 goals and 9 assists, 12 goal contributions from a left-sided fullback I think is very solid. Defensively, pretty good as well. 2.6 tackles per game, 4.7 balls recovered per game with a 53% successful dribble rate and a 24% accurate cross rate as well. He wins 54% of his ground duels. Yes, defensively, he's not the best fullback in the world, but going forward his output is absolutely brilliant. Obviously traditionally was a left midfielder or left winger throughout his career, but since moving to Wrexham I do think he has had a very good season there. Like I say, this is not a position that I'm absolute dead cert on, and you could make an argument for some other left backs, people who don't feature in today's video, the likes of Rio Adebisi, Nick Tsurulua at Crawley Town as well. I think both of them have had really good seasons, and 2 players that Bradford City should definitely be trying to sign this summer. But looking from what Wrexham achieved this season, I needed to obviously get some Wrexham players in there. Again, similar to Stockport, so many good players in there, not too many personal standouts. I certainly think though James McLean, a left wing back, was very important for them this season, and to get 12 goal contributions in 37 starts, I think that earns him a spot in my team. Let's move on then to the central midfielders. Firstly, we have someone who I've not really seen get talked about so much this season, and it's probably because he plays for Harrogate Town, and that's George Thompson. He is now 31 years of age, but he has had an absolutely exceptional season for Harrogate. You look at some of the big players in this division who play for the big clubs, who are getting paid the big money, and they have had nowhere near the output that George Thompson has had. Yes, I know he's Harrogate Town's penalty taker, but in 43 League 2 appearances this season, at 40 starts, 16 goals and 8 assists from central midfield. He ended the season as well absolutely brilliantly. His last few matches ended with an assist and then 2 goals and then a goal, then nothing, then 2 assists, then an assist and then a penalty goal against Bradford City. He has had an absolutely exceptional season. 24 goal contributions in 40 starts in the league this season from central midfield. That is absolutely brilliant, and he has not been talked about enough this season, and he definitely has to be in here. He averages a goal every 223 minutes with a 14% goal conversion rate. He has only missed 8 big chances as well this season, creating 15 big chances, averaging 1.4 key passes per game. Defensively, not the greatest, only 0.6 interceptions per game and 0.8 tackles per game, but he does have 5.9 balls recovered per game and 1.3 clearances per game as well, with a 55% successful dribble rate. But defensively, do you need to be outstanding when you're getting 24 goal contributions in 40 starts from central midfield at Harrogate Town? I genuinely don't understand why this man has been so underrated this season, but he absolutely has to be in this team. And partnering him then, I have gone with Notts County's Dan Crowley. Now, every time I've watched Dan Crowley play this season, I think he has been absolutely outstanding. He's one of them really annoying short players who likes to do a lot of spins and pirouettes, and you can never get the ball off him. Richie Smallwood, who I would say is one of the best out of possession midfielders in this division, couldn't get near Dan Crowley in both games we played against them this season, and he has obviously had a really good campaign. I was talking about Thompson's output this season. Dan Crowley's is even better. He has played a couple more matches though, 46 in League 2 this season, 43 of them being starts, again featuring in the SofaScore Team of the Week on 10 occasions this campaign. He scored 15 goals and also chipped in with 6 assists. Now, not times this season he has played as a 10 in the two number 10s behind the striker for Notts County, but he certainly can play in central midfield. He averages a goal every 254 minutes with a 30% goal conversion rate. That is absolutely outstanding. He's created 18 big chances this season, averaging 2 key passes per game, which I think is absolutely brilliant, with a 69% successful dribble rate. He's been outstanding this season for Notts County, and while defensively they've been in absolute shambles, going forward they have had a very good season, and there are more Notts County players to come. I think I'm right in saying there's more Notts County players than Wrexham and Stockport combined, which off the top of my head seems absolutely crazy. But again, I go back to my point earlier, Notts County have got a lot of individual players who've had very good seasons, not necessarily good as a team, like Stockport, Wrexham and even Mansfield as well. You know, there are some very good players who don't feature in the starting 11. Some of them are on the bench, but Dan Crowley, 25 goal contributions in 43 starts from central midfield, absolutely brilliant and definitely has to be in here. And completing my midfield then, and slightly ahead of them too, we have Mansfield Town's Davies Keeler-Dunn. I could have not have done a team of the season without Davies Keeler-Dunn in there. He has been absolutely exceptional this year for Mansfield. A big reason as to why they have been promoted, but again, a team who have had a lot of very good individual players this season. Someone like Aidan Flint, not even in the team of the season at all, and he's been monumental for them this campaign. But moving back on to Davies Keeler-Dunn then, he has featured in the SofaScore Team of the Week on 11 occasions this season, scoring 22 goals and also chipping in with 10 assists, 32 goal contributions in 40 starts this year for the Stags, averaging a goal every 155 minutes. He has also missed 16 big chances this season with a 14% goal conversion rate, so you could say credit to all the Mansfield players who are creating these chances for him. But he has scored a lot of very good individual efforts, and statistically just absolutely brilliant. He's created 14 big chances, averaging 2.2 key passes per game, as well with a 55% successful dribble rate. He has been so influential and instrumental to Mansfield Town's promotion at this campaign, and when the signing from Burton, I thought it was going to be a really good signing. In the second half of the previous season was very good for them. This season though, he's gone one better and massively contributed towards their promotion, and I think for me personally, plays much better off the front two rather than as a front two and partnered with more of a physical striker. But Davies Keeler-Dunn absolutely had to be in this team, and he's in as the attacking midfielder. So let's move on then to my front three, starting out with the right winger, and I have gone with Jody Jones. Now, I know traditionally this season he has played more as a left wing back or right wing back at times, but he is certainly a player who can play on the right wing, and I think he broke a record this season for most league assists in a single campaign, and he got 24 of them in 40 starts. That is an absolutely incredible return for Jody Jones. He also chipped in with 6 goals, 30 goal contributions in 40 starts. That is absolutely brilliant from somebody who for the large part has played at wing back, but I didn't want to put Jody Jones in at left back because that would just seem a little bit bizarre. But yeah, absolutely incredible season. A 48% successful dribble rate, 20% of his crosses were accurate as well, but you got to factor in Notts County don't really have a big physical striker who starts week in week out. It is normally Macaulay Langstaff. I know the sign was it Alassana Jatta in January, I do believe, but he obviously hasn't played as much as Langstaff this season, so you can understand why his successful cross rate isn't amazing, but getting 24 assists this season is absolutely brilliant, and it would be a crime if I didn't put Jody Jones in there. He's one of the few Notts County players who've had a very good season consistently. Again, he has been part of a defence that have conceded a lot of goals, but how can I ignore 30 goal contributions from wing back? Absolutely outstanding, and for me personally, I know he can play on the wing, so that's where I'm chucking him in. And as my single striker then, now don't get me wrong, there have been a lot of very good centre forwards this season, but I could only pick one, and that was the debating, do I go with the Golden Boot winner? Do I go with the best conversion rate? Do I go with somebody who gets loads of assists, creates loads of chances? Who do I pick as my main striker? And I was looking statistically, a man who scored 28 goals this season, it had to be Macaulay Langstaff. I feel like it would have been a crime not to have started the best goal scorer in the division this season. And while he has missed 29 big chances this campaign, and that is a hell of a lot, he's also scored 28 goals with 6 assists, 34 goal contributions for him is absolutely brilliant, averaging a goal every 144 minutes as well. While he has missed the 29 big chances this season, he has also created the 3, so we've got to give him a little bit of credit. He's just on the minus 26, but 28 goals this season, it's absolutely brilliant. And he has scored a couple penalties as well this campaign, 4 not counting, but a man who's won the Golden Boot, has a really good scoring frequency. He has a 16% goal conversion rate as well, which is not awful. There's probably better finishers in the division, but Macaulay Langstaff this season is touching, you know, nearly 35 goal contributions and obviously won the Golden Boot. So for me personally, I've gone with Macaulay Langstaff to lead the line. And completing my starting 11 then as the left winger, I've gone with Accrington Stanley's Jack Nolan. Now again, a man who I think has gone massively under the radar this season. At just 22 years of age, I think he's had an absolutely exceptional campaign. 39 starts for him this season, 45 league appearances in total, 17 goals and 8 assists. With all due respect to Accrington, a winger getting 25 goal contributions in 39 starts is absolutely exceptional. I fully expect him to make a move to one of the bigger clubs in League 2, or even an ambitious move up to League 1 as well next season. He is out of a contract this summer, has been offered new terms with Accrington, but I think it's pretty unlikely he will stay there. He averages a goal this season every 200 minutes with a 15% goal conversion rate. He's missed 6 big chances, but he's also created 13. Like I say, 8 assists in there as well, averaging 2 key passes per game with a 24% accurate cross rate, which I think is brilliant, with a 41% successful dribble rate as well. Again, ended the season very strong in his last couple of matches. I would probably say did really well towards the back end of the campaign. He got an assist and 2 penalty goals. He then got a goal, then an assist, then nothing, then an assist, then nothing, then an assist, then nothing, then a penalty goal, and then a penalty goal. Obviously, scoring a lot of penalties will improve your statistics and all that sort of stuff, but you've still got to convert them, and penalties are certainly not easy to take. But there is my starting 11, my personal League 2 team this season. I know already you're typing your comments in, you're disagreeing with some of my suggestions, but hold on for just a moment, because now we've got 7 substitutes and probably players you call honourable nominations as well. Let's get into it. So how I have done these substitutions then, we have 1 goalkeeper, 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, and then also 2 forwards as well. It was really hard for me to do some arithmetic there, but starting out with the goalkeeper then, a man who I was so close to starting, but I just obviously went with Corey Adai. I've gone with Stockport County's Ben Hinchliffe. Now, I think I'm saying that right, because I always seem to get his name wrong, but I think it's Hinchliffe. If it's wrong, then I give up, because I always seem to pronounce it wrong. I go Hinchcliffe or Hinchlife, but I think it's Hinchliffe. I'm pretty sure that it is. This season for Stockport has played every single league match for them. He also has a 68% save rate, which is pretty decent. He saved 2 out of 6 penalties. Unfortunately, one of them was against my team at Bradford City, but we'll let him off for it on this occasion. He also managed to keep 17 clean sheets this season. I think I'm right in saying he won the Golden Glove. Obviously, from a clean sheets point of view, he has had a better season than Corey Adai, but Corey Adai's save percentage being at 76% is too good for me to turn down, and I think I'd probably say Adai is better with the ball at his feet. Hinchcliffe has had an outstanding season though for Stockport and has been a massive part of their success this year, and for me personally, I absolutely had to put him into this team. So he makes his way onto the bench, but them 2 battling out for number 1 are 2 very good goalkeepers at this level. So let's move on then to my 2 defender suggestions. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, no Aidan Flynn in here, which I think is probably a big surprise. Wrexham defenders, I'll look at them. So many of them have been chopping and changing in and out of the side all season. It's been so hard to really say. But a man who I think again has gone slightly under the radar this season is Crawley Town's Will Wright. Now, I think Crawley deserve a lot of credit for how good they have been this season. Everybody was predicting them to finish rock bottom, and they've managed to get into the playoffs. In fact, the 2 teams who I predicted to be relegated this season are both battling out at Wembley next week for a place in League 1. So that shows really what I know about football. So maybe take this video with a little bit of a pinch of salt, but Will Wright for me absolutely has to be in this squad. Played 45 out of the 46 matches this season for Crawley, scored 4 goals and also chipped in with 8 assists. Again, very similar to Mickey Demetriou. A defender getting over double figures for goal contributions is absolutely outstanding. Again, it kept the 8 clean sheets this season, averaging 1.2 interceptions per game, 1.2 tackles per game, 5.5 balls recovered per game, and 3.1 clearances per game as well. He has had a brilliant season this year for Crawley. I think some people may be surprised to see him leave Gillingham and make that move over to Crawley, but Scott Lindsay has definitely got the best out of him this season. Scored a really nice free kick as well on the opening day against my team Bradford City, which Harry Lewis probably should have saved, but it was still a nice effort, and for me personally, I think he does deserve a spot on the bench for me. And as my other defender suggestion then, I have gone with Stockport County's Ibu Toure. Like I mentioned earlier when we were talking about James McLean, I nearly went Rio Adebisi, I nearly went Nick Tsuralua, but Ibu Toure this season has had a really good campaign with Stockport since making that move over from Salford. Now, I've seen at times Stockport fans really criticising Ibu Toure, but statistically, he again has had a really good season with Stockport. Did only manage the 25 starts in the league this season, 32 appearances in all competitions, scored 1 goal, but also chipped in with 9 assists. I think 10 goal contributions from full-back or wing-back is really good in my personal opinion. Defensively as well, very solid. He kept 10 clean sheets this season with 1.1 interceptions per game, 1.4 tackles per game, 5.1 balls recovered per game, and 2.1 clearances per game as well. He wins over 50% of his ground and his aerial duels, and I think again would provide some real competition for James McLean in that spot. Let me know down below if you had to pick one of McLean or Toure. Politics aside, which one would you pick? Moving on then to my midfielders, and they both play for the same club who I have on the bench. Starting out firstly then with Milton Keynes Dons, Alex Gilbey. He's played every single league match this season for MK, scoring 13 goals and also chipping in with 10 assists. Again, he's very similar to Dan Crowley. For the large part this season, has played as part of a 2 behind the striker, not really as a winger, but more number 10s, and has had a really productive season. I think a lot of people were surprised to see him move on from Stevenage and go back to MK Dons, but it's clearly a place where they get the best out of him there. 23 goal contributions, he scores a goal or gets an assist for 1 in every 2 games, if that does make sense, and he has had a really good season. Defensively, not too bad either, 1.4 tackles per game and 4.2 clearances per game as well, with a 53% successful dribble rate. 25% of his crosses are accurate as well. He created 12 big chances this season while also missing 12 big chances, averaging 1.4 key passes per game. And for all the horrible performances that MK Dons had in the playoffs this season, I say for all of them, for the 2 horrible performances they had in the playoffs this season, Alex Gilbey was a big part of them getting there in the first place and definitely deserves a spot on the bench for me. And like I mentioned, both of these players do play for MK Dons, and next up we have Dan Kemp of MK Dons. Now, spent the first half of the season out on loan at Swindon Town, and I am very confident in saying he was the best player in the division until he was recalled. It's clear that Dan Kemp at MK Dons doesn't really work, and it never really has worked. We look at the previous season when he spent the second half of it out on loan at Hartlepool and had a really productive time. Now Dan Kemp went out on loan to Swindon at the start of the season. I think he was under Graham Alexander. Did really well there. They recalled him in January and it hasn't really worked out for him, to be honest with you. He's got the odd goal contribution at MK Dons, but nothing really amazing. Wasn't even in the matchday squad as well for the 2 playoff games. I think it's very likely he will be leaving this summer, but got 46 appearances in total in League 2, 39 of them being starts, scoring 17 goals and chipping in with 11 assists as well. And the majority of them were pre-MK Dons recall at Swindon Town. If Dan Kemp wasn't at Swindon at the start of the season, I think they're relegated, and I'm genuinely not concerned about saying that. I genuinely do think that they would have gone down, but he scored a goal every 199 minutes this season, only missed the 7 big chances while creating 15 of them, averaging 1.7 key passes per game. 24% of his crosses were accurate and 51% of his dribbles were successful as well, and had an absolutely outstanding season. 28 goal contributions in 39 starts, absolutely brilliant, and definitely has to be on the bench for me. Moving on then to our strikers, and we want to get some more players in for clubs who were automatically promoted this season, and that is why next up we have Wrexham AFC's Paul Mullin. Now, he missed obviously the start of the season with that punctured lung, but massively bounced back. There were maybe some question marks whether he could make that step up again into League Two after being in the National League for the last couple of seasons, but he definitely answered and silenced all of his critics. 38 appearances for him in total, 34 starts, 24 goals and 6 assists, 30 goal contributions in 34 starts. How could I put anybody else in than Paul Mullin? He scored a goal on average every 126 minutes. He did also miss 14 big chances, but he had a 21% goal conversion rate, creating 7 big chances, averaging 1.3 key passes per game as well. Had a really good season for Wrexham. Ended it very well as well. In the last few matches, he got nothing, and then a goal and an assist, and then 2 goals, and then 2 goals, and then a goal, and then nothing, and then a goal and a penalty goal, and also then a goal as well. He's had a brilliant season with Wrexham. Maybe if he'd have been available all campaign, I think definitely if he'd have been available all campaign, he probably would have started over Macaulay Langstaff, but Paul Mullin for me absolutely has to be in this squad. And completing my squad then as the final substitute, I have another Crawley Town player, and that is Danilo Orsi. He has been absolutely exceptional this year for Crawley. When he left Grimsby, I think the large fan base at Grimsby would have said, yeah, we're happy to see him move on, but Scott Lindsay's once again got the best out of Danilo Orsi. Played 45 matches in League 2 this season, scoring 19 goals and also chipping in with 4 assists. Scored a hat-trick as well in the League 2 playoff semi-final second leg away at MK Dons, and it's just been absolutely brilliant this year. Massive credit needs to go to Scott Lindsay, but also Danilo Orsi as well. He has a 25% goal conversion rate, which is absolutely brilliant. You could always say, like with someone like Macaulay Langstaff, it's more down to the system rather than the player. I know Langstaff has been very successful, but statistically has missed a lot of chances this season. Danilo Orsi scoring 1 in every 4 shots that he takes is absolutely exceptional, and he's one of the best finishers in this division and absolutely deserves a spot in this squad. I do also want to give a shout out to Jordan Bowery, because if there's a man who you need to play any position on the pitch, Jordan Bowery is definitely that guy. He played at striker, right back, centre half, could probably even do a job in goal if you need him to. But there is my 18-man squad, 11 starters, 7 substitutes. If we were to kick Forest Green out at the start of the season and put Sam Drake's League 2 team of the season in there, where do you think they would have finished? Obviously, you've got to factor in injuries, and there is only an 18-man squad, so it's a very small squad. You've got no youth academy players or anything like that. Where do you think this team would have finished this season? But thank you all very much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please make sure to drop a like on there for me. If you could try and hit 150 likes, as I said at the start of today's video, that'd be massively appreciated. Subscribe if you're new as well. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so please make sure you are subscribed. If you haven't already, with that post notification bell on, it's free to do so, and it does massively help out. Get your thoughts in as well down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your League 2 team this season. Let me know down below your 7 substitutes as well. Do you agree or disagree with my team? Thank you all for watching. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you very soon for another one. Peace.